Yeah, I think after that first drive, I was like, oh Lord, oh no, we're in for it. Um, but it seemed like the Bama team that came out on the field in Atlanta was a team that started to play a full game. It was a team that had coordinators that were calling plays for the players that were on the field and not for players that had played previously. It seems like because we had somewhat of a chip on our shoulder, that kind of propelled us into being successful. I mean, you got to tip your hat to Will Reichard, who is now the leading scorer in NCAA football. I mean, that's amazing
Yeah, it's a
and
great story.
incredible. Super proud of him. That's an amazing stat. You know, his first kick gets him breaking the record, and then he just kind of added on to that afterwards. And what a stand-up guy and Will, and somebody that has really carried us for several seasons. So it was awesome to see him get that accolade on such a big stage for those that play in the Southeastern Conference. I will say our offensive line started to look a little bit better. I was really nervous how they were going to do against the defense of Georgia, and they seemed to give Jalen Milroe some of the time that he needed in the pocket, which we haven't seen a lot of. But I think they really took this challenge seriously and were able to kind of hold their ground and make holes when we needed holes. It was very successful for us in getting the run game going. Roydell Williams had several runs that were awesome, and Jace McClellan. So that was something that we've been really itching for, and we finally were able to get that. I think on the opposite side of the ball, defensively, that front seven was great. Sack numbers were not, elite, but I think we were able to rattle and get pressure on Carson Beck, and that's something that throughout the season we've been really pushing for, just wanting to get to the quarterback, and I've never felt like we've gotten full momentum going towards them and really, really rattling them in the pocket. And I think we did. Beck had only been sacked 8 times all season, and Alabama was able to get him down twice, but pressured him several other times. And I think that was a big key difference maker in the game, is he wasn't as comfortable or able to be as comfortable in the pocket as he has been in other games. And, we had some injuries in the game. We had Kool-Aid McKinstry, which is a huge loss for us to come out of the game on defense, but Trey Amos came in and immediately started making plays, which you get nervous when you have people like Kool-Aid McKinstry, Dallas Turner going out, and you have that momentum and you're afraid that maybe the momentum will start to shift to the other side. And they did a really, really great job stepping into very big shoes that if I were somebody in an SEC championship game, those are not the shoes I would want to step in, especially not Kool-Aid McKinstry. But it was exciting to see that we had some depth there. And then, I mean, Jalen Milroe was confident. He was poised. He made some great runs on his own. He made some really great throws as well and connected well with Isaiah Bond. So I was really pleased with the performance. I know people are going to talk about calls, and that's fine. I think, obviously we're going to see calls on both sides of the ball, and we're in Georgia, we weren't in Tuscaloosa, but regardless, I know, and we'll get to it when we get to the playoff committees as well. I can confirm that I was not called as an Alabama alumni to join any meeting to donate to a ref fund or a playoff committee fund. Alumni, fees have not gone up, and the text chain of every Bama fan ever did not go off. So I don't know. It wasn't us. But people are going to be big mad regardless. So it doesn't matter to me one way or the other. I will say I felt like we delivered key plays and some really clutch moments that at the beginning of this season, I don't think we could have done. And I don't think we had the poise to do or the confidence to do. And we were able to do that. I think Georgia's offense, or I should say offensive coordinator, certainly made some questionable calls. That trick play is not something I would have called in that situation, and it was not executed properly. I'm not an offensive coordinator, so take that with a grain of salt. But sometimes I look at these offensive coordinators and I wonder if they shouldn't pursue other career opportunities and paths as well. Regardless, I think, and it's something I've said all weekend as like the texts have come in on Saturday night and Sunday. This was a hell of a game to watch. This was the last SEC game on CBS. Thank God we don't have Gary Danielson anymore. Everybody can just rest easy knowing
Unless
that.
you're gonna watch Big Ten game.
Oh, I
Why
see.
would you do that?
Silly. You're a jokey joke maker. But this was an incredible game to watch as the last game. I know if you're a fan of, Mississippi State or Arkansas or LSU, maybe you don't think that, but this really was two juggernaut programs that were closing out this long-standing relationship that has had weird, wacky, historic plays happen in this time slot on this network. And when we're in an era right now of so many things changing, whether it be teams, broadcast deals, rivalries, whatever you want to talk about, this was a game to watch, and one where I felt like very nervous the whole time, even though we kind of came out with the win. So I'm really proud of our ability to play 4 quarters. And I said last week that in order to beat Georgia, we had to play all 4. And we may have let up a little bit in the second half, but we played all 4. And that was it. And I think I've kind of talked about this season as well, that Georgia to me has not played all 4 a lot. They've started a little slow, and I think that caught up here. And I know the Dog fans aren't going to like to hear that, but I think a lot would agree as well. I digress.